That record holds out and the camera
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Grand Prix Podcast. I am Elton, as normal, and this is Andy, as normal.
I'd say as abnormal, maybe.
As abnormal, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
And there we go. And we are here to review the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix.
It was boring. Right, there we go, job done. That was a quick one, wasn't it?
This is going to be a quick one, I think.
So I've got a question.
Yes.
From my wife, actually. Because we have this running gag that whenever one of us says it's going to be a quick one, it never is.
Yeah.
So I went and had a look back through the feeds, and pretty much since I've been doing these with you, they're almost always between an hour and a half, 2 hours long.
Yeah.
But before I was doing these with you, you did two Grand Prix. One was the Japanese Grand Prix. I think the other one was the Spanish Grand Prix. Yeah. And you did it in 20 minutes.
Flipping hell.
How the hell did you do 2 Grand Prix in 20 minutes? Did you just say, hey, this is Elton from the Grand Prix Podcast. There was a couple of races. Jules Bianchi crashed. Okay, bye.
Was this on my own?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, that's what happens when I don't have anyone to bounce off.
Okay. So what you're saying is it's all my fault, the 2 hour casts.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'd rather have a long one, although it's weird having a one that is longer than the actual race that we're reviewing.
Oh,
which
we've
is
had
what
that a
happened.
couple of times. Yeah.
Well, I think we went about 45 minutes over what the actual race ran last time out. So I'm hoping that doesn't
Monza.
happen this time. Yeah, in Monza, yeah.
Well, yeah, but Monza's only a 40-minute race anyway, so yeah,
it is. It's a sprint, and that is it. Okay, well,
now I don't know if you listened to this. Just very quickly,
yeah,
I don't know if you listened to this because I know you haven't been listening to the commentaries. Did you hear Martin Brundle's suggestion for races?
I hadn't turned off at that point. Now, I did watch the whole race, just to bring people up to speed. I did watch the whole race, but the commentary, I had my final straw with it, and that I flipped the table and went on to the race circuit only commentary, which is just cars going yow, yow, yow. And so, yeah, I did hear him say about extending the Monza and reducing, maybe putting them around about 90 minutes.
He basically said all races should be 90 minutes plus 1 lap.
Right.
Your thoughts?
No, it's not a timed event. It's a lapped event, as far as I'm concerned.
It is a lapped event, but you were saying your biggest issue with Monza is you're not getting enough entertainment. You want an hour and a half entertainment. You paid for it, damn it.
Yes.
I want an hour and a half. And then we have other races, like, just for example, let's just say off the top of my head, let's say the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix, which might drag quite a bit. Do you not feel that it might be better if you just say, look, they're all 90 minutes plus a lap, then you're still getting you're getting an hour and a half entertainment each time. The number of laps is largely inconsequential. And most circuits are more or less, most circuits, with the exception of, I think, Monza and, was it Monaco, he said, are about the same distance as well. That's why they do vary in lap numbers. You know, it's why they don't just say every race is 50 laps. They do it because they want to run however many kilometres they want to run.
Yeah, it's just over 300 kilometres.
Yeah. So do you not think that 90 minutes is a better way to go there?
No, because I quite like the longer races.
So instead of saying 90 minutes, why don't we say it's, I don't know, 100 minutes plus a lap?
Right. I don't know. The way I see it is if you encroach into the timed event, then possibly the last lap or two would either be played at a very slow pace or very frantic. But you could have people like today's race where they just plodded around for half of it and then did the sprint when they knew the pit stops were coming around. You could have a race that just, okay, well, look, we need to save the engine to make it work. So we just plod and plod and plod, and everyone's plodding because they can't overtake. Where's the fun in that?
Well, where was the fun in this, indeed?
Well, okay, well, that's what I was going to ask, your initial thoughts. I know you said boring, but go on. Sum this race up.
Okay. You want me to sum it up?
In 6 words.
Okay, that was utterly, totally fucking boring, sad.
Next week, I will be asking you to sing. Okay, so not impressed then, no?
I was not impressed, no. This was... With my usual caveats that Monaco is and always will be the worst Grand Prix ever, because it's just boring and lame. This was almost on a Monaco level, and it's made worse because I expect so much more from Singapore. I expect an exciting race from Singapore.
Isn't that weird?
It is.
Isn't that weird? Because I expect so much from this race, and I think throughout the course of its running, I think we've had quite good races. But normally I expected so little from Monza and got so much, and expected so much from Singapore and got so little.
It's true.
It's cats and dogs again, isn't it?
It's a little bit. This was just a very lackluster race where no one really seemed to be trying, with the exception possibly of Sergei Sirotkin and Sergio Perez, which we will no doubt get to in due course.
Thank goodness for them two for keeping it slightly entertaining.
Slightly entertaining, yeah. But other than that, it basically felt like after qualifying, everyone just kind of was resigned to the fact, well, that's that done.
Well, yeah, okay, I think we'll get into that later, but yeah, if you look at the qualifying and the result, not much different, really.
No.
Not a lot of difference, which is...
In fact, the top 6, spoiler alert, the top 6 finished where they qualified.
Exactly. What the hell? Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to rag on it. I really don't.
And it's weird because this... Oh, I'm going to. I don't give no fucks. Oh, and by the way, people, we do use coarse language on this podcast, so you've been duly noted.
Exactly.
It just... If I may quote Immortan Joe, mediocre.
Yeah. It's not my favourite race of the season so far. I think it's on par with Spain. Spain, I think, was my worst race this season. So, yeah. And, okay, maybe Canada. We expected so much from Canada as well and didn't get a lot. We had one crash at the very beginning and it was quite dull for the rest of the race. So, I think there's been more of these type of races than thrillers.
I think you're right. I think you are right. But it's weird to say when, we're 6 laps from the end and it's still largely open in terms of who can win. But it has just felt really kind of meh.
Well, I've been looking through on Twitter and I've seen each side of the scale on this about this season, and people are saying this has been one of the greatest seasons ever. I don't see that at all.
No.
And people are saying this is one of the worst seasons ever. I don't think it's one of the worst.
Oh, it's definitely not one of the worst, but it's certainly very, well, again, mediocre. It's just been very meh.
Yeah.
I've just not really, I've not felt it, Just not feeling it.
Yeah. What a shame. Okay, well, has there been any news in between the last race and this race? Because I think there might have been.
There might have been. It's entirely possible someone forgot to look up the news before we got to this point. So he might I'm just saying, it's entirely possible he's frantically rushing over.
Well, while you're frantically rushing over, shall I remind you of some of the news that might have happened then?
Would you be reminding me perhaps of the key 2021 concepts?
I haven't written that down, but I'm glad you brought that up. So what I was going to say is that the most important news, which I'd like to point out, it was Kimi is out of Ferrari, and the news wasn't that Leclerc was in Ferrari. The major news of that story is Kimi has been kicked out of Ferrari.
Well, because I think once Kimi was gone, it was kind of a foregone conclusion who was taking the seat. There was only one person moving into that seat. So once the announcement was made, it was like, oh, okay, fine, sir.
So we're just waiting for the news of Kimi to depart Ferrari.
Yeah, and yeah, this was a surprise because I thought if they were going to do it, they'd have done it at Monza.
Yeah, I think the news was kind of leaking out though, wasn't it?
It was starting to leak out, but Ferrari has traditionally always made driver announcements on or around a Monza race because they like to get their guys out there with, all the Forza there, all the Tifosi, and, announce them in Ferrari's home country and say, yay, Forza Ferrari, blah, 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 blah. And when they didn't announce it at Monza, I certainly thought, and I think you as well, it was like, well, Kimi's in there for another year.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping, and that's what I was thinking as well.
It was, ladies and gentlemen who weren't privy at the time, it was a roller coaster, 20 minutes or so, where when it was announced that Kimi was gone, and it's entirely possible Elton might have started table flipping, and just like Elton smash.
It did kind of have a heart attack at work.
It is, and then about 20 minutes later, the follow-up part of the news, which I'll let you say in a second, came through, and all of a sudden he diverted back to Bruce Banner, and all was right.
Wait, he kind of went back home, or not back home, maybe back to where it all started.
Yes,
and so Kimi has now rejoined Sauber. Now, is this just Kimi taking a place of a young driver's seat?
It's possible. I think the situation for Sauber being what it is, they're trying to develop and get back to the kind of levels they were at when BMW were footing the bill. Mm-hmm. And I think, and I've always said this, I think the best setup for any team is you want a well-established, good, solid lead driver, a development driver, a seasoned professional, if you will.
Yeah.
And then an up-and-coming young gun who can learn from the maestro, and you just kind of, develop, have a chance to get comfortable in their own skin and in the Formula One car while still being able to, learn how you develop a car rather than being thrown entirely in the deep end.
Yeah.
I think the policy that we've seen a bit with Toro Rosso and with Sauber in the last few years of having two young drivers in there hasn't necessarily been the right one. But equally so, I think Ferrari having two old gits in there probably wasn't the best thing for them either.
Yeah, fair enough. Hopefully, Sauber will have a mixed dynamic, and Leclerc going to Ferrari is a definite nod to the future. Mm-hmm. Maybe in the not so distant future as well, just seeing how he goes. Maybe one S Vettel might not be there as long as what he thought he would be there.
I think it's a sign that Sauber is definitely becoming the Ferrari B team.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Kimi's been signed on a 2-year contract with Sauber.
Yeah.
I will wager most of that money is coming from Ferrari to pay his salary, either directly or through reduced costs for engines and things like that.
Oh, guarantee it, yeah.
So I put this to you online, and I'll ask it again now for the sake of everyone listening. Do you think what Ferrari are doing here is hedging their bets? And if for whatever reason, Leclerc doesn't deliver in the Ferrari, if there's drama between him and Vettel, if Vettel starts getting upset and threatening to throw toys out of prams, do you think there could be a cheeky swap back if it didn't work out? Is this Ferrari saying, yeah, we know we need to get him into the car, so we're going to do that now, but we don't necessarily want Kimi too far away just in case we need him?
I like your thinking. It's possible, but I don't think Ferrari would do that. That is almost saying, okay, we failed. We got this wrong. And Ferrari don't do that. They are too headstrong. We've seen them over the years where they balls up, screw up, don't get the results, and they just plod on and go, okay, right, fine, we're concentrating on next year's car. How many times have we seen them do that in the last 3-4 years?
Well, I grant you that, but how many times have they put a young up-and-coming driver just a season into Formula One into one of their cars?
I'm trying to remember now.
I can't think of one.
There's no...
I honestly can't. They've always gone with well-established drivers, both for their lead driver and their B driver.
Yeah.
Always. So...
And this is the youngest driver that they've had since the 1960s, isn't it?
It's their youngest driver, and with all respect to Charles Leclerc, the least experienced.
Yeah.
So I feel this might be Ferrari trying to get with the times, as it were, but still wanting to keep the water wings on. You know, they're paddling out in the pool a little bit. They just want to, just in case.
Can you honestly imagine them recalling Kimi Räikkönen though? That says that they failed.
Yes, but I imagine they would only do it if they were failing. And again, pure speculation here, but suppose they stick Charles Leclerc in the car and, you know, the car's built around Vettel for the most part, and he just can't get on with it. And we get to the midpoint of a season and his car hasn't scored a single point.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in again, neck and neck sort of with Mercedes. They need a good tail gunner.
Yeah.
Would they at that point say, no, we're going to stick with it, we're going to stick with it, we're going to stick with it? Or would Ferrari, being Ferrari, and bear in mind, Ferrari once fired Alan Prost for saying nasty things about their car in the middle of a season.
Well, yeah, granted, that was the last race of the season though, wasn't it?
True.
But
they still fired Alan Prost.
Well, they did, because I think he spent most of that season just berating that car, though, didn't he?
He was doing an Alonso.
And no, that wasn't the year that he span off at Imola either. I think the year before he spun off on the parade lap at Imola. But yeah, that's by the by. But I can't... It's interesting what Ferrari have done. I like what they're doing. It means that they have a direction.
It's unlike Ferrari, and that in and of itself is very interesting. So
yeah.
We'll see, but we've got Kimi for another 2 years, which is great.
Yeah.
So obviously, the makers of Magnum could breathe a sigh of relief. They're still going to be needed to show up at the races, and I think good news all round, generally speaking. I don't know who. Because we've had quite a few bits of driver changes. I don't think we're going to see Ericsson alongside Kimi. I think the rumour has it it's going to be Giovinazzi.
Yeah, I was wondering who it would be alongside him.
I think it's going to be Giovinazzi. And effectively, Ferrari are just saying, yes, Alba's our B team now, and Haas is a customer team.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. I think that's the way it's going to go. We had more driver news.
Yes.
Stoffel is out. Goodbye, Stoffel.
Yes.
Replaced with Lando Calrissian. No.
I'm not surprised. There hasn't been like a strong results from Stoffel Van Dorn. And yeah, I suppose we say goodbye to Dornberg, don't we? Never mind.
Yeah. No, well, there you go. Nice while it lasted. Now, do you think this is a good thing for Lando Norris, or do you think McLaren are going to spit him up and chew him up and spit him out like they have done with every new driver since Lewis Hamilton?
I think I don't know if they'll... I think it might be good for him. I think they've gone back to basics with the Renault. They know that they've screwed up, and they've had a year to try and put in position and sort things out ready for next year. They are having a complete driver change, so then they got Sainz in there as well. And so you got a lead driver and a rookie, which, as you say, is a good way to go. Sainz hasn't got that much experience, but he's got a couple of years under his belt. He knows what he's doing, and now he's got that mantle of, okay, right, I can take this team forward. I can develop it. We can progress. Mm-hmm. And so that's...
Well, next year will be his 4th year in Formula One, Sainz.
So that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
McLaren seem to be moving in the right direction. They have a car to score points. We've seen that.
They had a car which scored points. I personally am of the opinion that's more to do with a person driving it than the car.
It is, but they also have a baseline. Mm. And so they need to reach that baseline. Sainz thinks he can be the next Alonso, so let him try and be the next Alonso. And let Norris come in. He's not going to set the world alight like Hamilton did, because he just hasn't got the car that Hamilton had when he came in.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting him to start winning races.
No.
But I don't think it's going to be as bad. It's always sad to see someone come in and join McLaren, but it's the shit McLaren at the moment, isn't it?
It's not even like signing up to join Minardi.
At the moment, no, it's not. So it is something to put in your CV, but then you go, oh, what year was this? Oh, that's right, it's 2018, 2019. So not that great, was it? So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to the new change. Mm-hmm. I'm just a bit sore about the person that's losing out in all of this.
Stoffel?
Not Stoffel, but more other drivers from other teams that sat
Esteban
there.
Ocon.
Esteban Ocon doing very well.
Apparently he had a deal with Renault.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Ricciardo moved there, that was off the table. So then he went and signed a deal with McLaren. And then McLaren took that away as well. So,
yeah. Now.
Toto Wolff's very vocal on wanting third cars, mostly so he can give a seat to Esteban Ocon.
Yeah.
I really think Ocon's only possible chance would be a Williams, and at this point the question is, do you want to be in a Williams or do you want to just take a seat, take a season out?
Well, look what Mick Hacken did in, when was it, 93, and Andretti had signed, and Senna was not too sure if he was going to be signing or not, and so Mika Hakkinen took the test driver's seat, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he bided his time. Michael Andretti ended up quitting after the Italian Grand Prix. He stepped up and blew Senna's doors off on that first qualifying in Portugal, I think it was.
Let's not forget, though, that in 93 they still were able to, test drive.
That's true, yes, that is true.
Anyway, a few more bits of news. We'll just whiz through these.
Mm-hmm.
I think we mentioned last time that Haas was excluded from the... what was the last Grand Prix?
The Italian Grand Prix.
The Italian Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Well, they've lodged an appeal.
Right.
Don't know when that goes. But no, this is the bit you'll like. Haas have then said, the rivals are complaining because they cannot beat us, says Haas with his unassailable how many point lead on the championship? Oh, wait, no, you're not.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's jealous, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. So jealous.
So jealous.
Ferrari are in a bit of trouble for sticking a bag over their camera to stop people spying on their steering wheel.
I love this.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, you have the camera on top of a roll hoop, and that's provided by FOM through the FIA to broadcast television pictures. It's bespoke, but no, it's not bespoke. It's standard issue from FOM, and all of the cars are obliged to carry it and not to interfere with it. Now, there's certain electronics in there. So what Ferrari had been doing was sticking a bag over it, saying it was full of dry ice to keep the electronics cool. Now, FOM complained, saying, well, it's blocking the view from the camera, during the grid and everything like that. So the FIA told them they had to stop doing that. So for the Italian Grand Prix, they didn't put a bag over it. They draped an umbrella over it instead. And now they've developed some weird system of pipes, which conveniently still blocks the camera.
It's genius. I love the fact that they probably spent thousands of pounds putting carbon fibre together just so they can cover a camera.
Yep.
That's all they've done.
Yep. Well, you got to say, if they're so worried about the people seeing the settings on a wheel, maybe some sort of steering wheel cover.
Yeah. Or I did tweet the meme of the Friends meme of Joey and Chandler when they're doing something and Chandler puts his hands in front of Joey's face and says, not touching, can't get mad, not touching, can't get mad. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Basically.
Why not just put a red Ferrari badge, like a, what am I trying to think of? A banner or something like that. Just in front of everything. So you're not covering the camera, you're just blocking its view.
Yeah. Basically. Well, that's kind of what they did with the umbrella, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, build the halo a hat. And put a little halo hat on while you're doing the steering wheel stuff.
Love it.
And what you can say, well, that's trying to keep the cockpit cool for when the driver gets in. That's all I would do.
Mm-hmm.
A halo hat. There we go. You can have that, FOM.
Nice. Yeah. No, they should go with that. Patented the Grand Prix podcast.
There you go.
So there you go. Halo hat. That's what we want to see. Rumour has it, and I didn't see this one coming, Danny Kvyat could be back next year.
Yeah, Toro Rosso. Is that right?
Supposedly, allegedly, potentially.
Right. I don't know what I feel about that. That's some sort of Stockholm syndrome, isn't it?
All I could guess is he still has some very powerful backers with deep pockets.
Yeah, either that or he's got some dirt on the people at Red Bull.
Or both.
Maybe, yes. Maybe. Yeah, it's like it's like Johnny Depp and who does he always work with? Tim Burton. I swear Tim Burton has got some very iffy photos of Johnny Depp in compromising positions. And he's like, well, if you don't work on this film, I might release these. And he's like, okay, fine. I'll just work for you. And maybe Kvyat's got something like that.
I couldn't possibly comment. So we'll see, I suppose. So the last bit of news, I think, is a bit I said at the beginning. The FIA have unveiled, or FIA, Liberty Media have unveiled some images of what they think the cars from 2021 will look like.
Okay.
So what did you think of them?
What did I think of these? I think they're a nice representation of what Liberty Media want the cars to look like. Whether they'll actually get that, I don't know.
No.
They were branded as Ferrari and Mercedes, weren't they? And they were identical cars.
And Red Bull.
Oh, the Red Bull one as well, was there? I didn't see the Red Bull one. I saw the Ferrari one. I saw the Mercedes one. And I thought, okay, fine. As long as you got to show at least two, so you not look like you're picking sides.
Here you go. In Ye Chat.
Yeah.
There's the picture. If you skip through the pictures to picture 8, you can see the 3 of them.
Okay, right. I will upload this. But yeah, I liked the initial look of them. I liked the shape of the halo. I thought that was...
The halo looks a lot better, definitely.
Well, yeah.
It flows into the lines of the car now.
Mm-hmm. Flows into the lines. I like the little dip in the middle as well, the kind of V shape to it.
Mm-hmm.
Still waiting for my internet to catch up with these photos. I'll go through them in a second.
Okay. They've used design cues from other previous Formula One cars. So it's got the sloping back inspired from the 90s cars.
Yeah.
It's got the top of the wings is very reminiscent of James Hunt's. Not James Hunt, sorry. Jules Villeneuve's Ferrari. And you've got, they're kind of like pulling the greatest hits, these design cues. But I don't think the cars will look anything like this because at the end of the day, the Formula One designers are generally a lot smarter than the graphic artists, FOM design, hire. and they'll always go for, function over form over function.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go for function over form. They'll go for what is quicker over what looks good. And that's when you get things like those bloody duck beak cars we had. When was that? 2010?
Oh, yeah.
You remember those with the step nose? They'll always go for that. I mean, the only way I can see them getting something close to that is if they effectively mandate a stock chassis.
Yeah.
And you say, look, you can bolt whatever you want in terms of wings and aero and stuff like this, but the chassis is this. And all the teams have the same one.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't see that happening.
There are a couple of designs here, aren't there?
Yeah.
And, okay, like the first two images on here, they look sweet.
Yeah.
They look really, really good. Then you start drifting into what you could be having with, which I think is more what we'll be getting.
I mean, I think
in image 5.
So we know we're getting the larger wheels.
Yep.
The larger rims. So we're definitely going to get the wheels looking more like that, which is instantly a big improvement. And things like the halo, since that's going to be a safety thing, they'll mandate specs for that. So I imagine that's going to look the same. But yeah, when you get to image 5, and also more so with, the image of the 3 cars, they are largely the same, just, I suppose, a little bit cleaner. I do like the fact the front wings look a lot cleaner, less of those elements, which is good.
That's what I want. Exactly what we got there. You should have one adjustable wing at the front, and that is it.
Do you see also on the rear wheels there, they've got partial covers?
Yeah, seen that.
So that's designed to prevent, and this is only on that image, but this is designed to prevent wheel-to-wheel contacts and the wheels riding up like we've seen most recently in Spa.
I don't think they work. I don't, unless they're incorporated into the actual body themselves and they are part of the car. Just putting a fairing over the wheel doesn't stop you from riding over the wheel. You'd have
to go for like they did with the Indy car, the Dan Weldon car.
Yeah, that still didn't stop people from riding over the wheels.
No.
The only thing that would crumple, and then that would get sent over the wheels, and then your car would get sent over the wheels.
Interesting note. I don't know if you noticed this. If you go back to picture 7.
Okay.
And also on picture 9, actually.
Yeah.
Do you notice the logo on there?
Oh, God, it's the old logo.
It's the old logo.
Oh, man. Did they actually issue this?
Yep.
Genius. Oh, it's on image 1 as well.
So I imagine that these designs have been sitting around for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the rear wing on the first 2 images as well. That rear wing looks wicked.
That rear wing looks great. It does look very kind of something out of Gran Turismo, but I don't think we're going to see that.
Yeah.
Because Formula One designers, by and large, are very conservative. They won't make a big change until they know it'll work. And then once they know it works, they just kind of obsess over that change. So you're not going to see a massive design change like that overnight.
No.
You'll see I'm pretty sure when we get to 2021, the cars are almost going to look exactly like the cars looked in 2020, adapted to fit the regulations. And then they'll just start developing them over time.
Yeah.
Because if you look back to when was the most recent massive reg change? I'm not talking engines, I'm talking aero. It's be 2009?
2009, yeah.
Yeah. They made a big change. But aside from the wings being narrower and taller at the back and wider at the front, the rest of the cars were largely the same. And then they just started developing stuff. I'll tell you one thing I noticed watching the Singapore Grand Prix, though. The cars are starting to remind me a lot of those ones we were getting in 2007 with the wings and the chimneys and everything all over the place.
Yeah, once again, there's lots of flips and tucks there. And
they're just too busy. They're just far too busy.
I'm not too sure if I'm a massive fan of that. When 07, 08 rolled around, which was the peak of wings and flips and chimneys and stuff like that, I'm not too sure I was a fan of them cars. Like you say, too busy, too much going on, and too much disturbed air.
Yeah.
If you're trying to flick air around somewhere, you're disturbing it for someone to follow into.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I quite like the designs. I like the idea of it. Whether it'll get anywhere near there, though, I don't know.
Yeah, I like the concept. I like how they look. Let's wait and see what we get out of it. I will be very surprised if what we get looks anything like any of those outside of 4 wheels, 2 wings, and a halo.
Okay, cool. Right. I take it that's all the news done then.
I believe so. If there's any news that we've missed, we'll just do it next week.
Cool. Right. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to rapidly run through the free practice and qualifying, get to the race, and then we'll get out of here. Because
it works for me. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. So free practice, we had Leclerc knock his front right wheel off as he was going over the Anderson Bridge, which was a little bit of a mistake, but seeing that he'd just signed for Ferrari, and then all the questions started, well, is he going to do this when he's at Ferrari? And I was thinking, well, okay, just let him have his mistakes.
I was going to say, it's not like you can expect a Ferrari driver to clip a wall.
Exactly, yeah. None of them have done that this year, have they?
Nah, certainly not. Certainly not. And certainly not here at Singapore.
No.
It'd be unheard of.
Definitely not at Germany either.
Nah.
And here as well. None of them touched the wall at all, did they?
No, they didn't.
No. FP2, we had Hamilton, and he nearly went into the back of Vettel when the German passed him, slowed down, and caught Hamilton either napping or unawares or wiped off his downforce. I'm not too sure, but it was a bit tit for tat. Whether it was meant, I'm not too sure. But Vettel went on, and later on in that session, he brushed the wall, funny enough. Oh, look, there we go. And ruined all of his long runs. FP3, nothing happened. And then, okay, qualifying. Right, I need to get up who we lost because there were no engine penalties. Thank goodness this time round. I know. I actually felt that inhale then as well. Even these miles away from each other that we are. So, Q1. Hamilton was close to going out in this session.
There was a great quote, I think, from Günther Steiner. And he goes, what's the difference between a genius and an idiot? 2 temps.
Right. Fair play. Yeah, he did one run and then came in and thought, no, do you know what? That'll do. And he sat on it. And that was perfectly good for him to go through. Although
they had less, and I still hate it, but hyper soft tires.
Mm.
So they didn't want to use a set in Q1 if they didn't have to. They wanted to try and go through on the ultra softs.
Yeah.
So he did it, and it was nip and tuck. But he did it. So
it was close. It was definitely close. And the lap that he actually did set, he did run wide on the exit of the last corner. And I'm surprised that they didn't pull him up on that. But then again, no, I shan't say that maybe they're looking after Hamilton a little bit. I won't say that because, that's just slander, isn't it?
Slander, yes.
Yes. So in Q1, we lost Lance Stroll, Sirotkin, Van Dorn, Hartley, Magnussen, and that was it.
Yeah, I don't think there was any huge surprises there.
Maybe Magnussen.
Maybe. Apparently, him and Grosjean switched cars at some point.
Yeah. Well, maybe the team don't even know. Maybe Grosjean just came down early in the morning and was like, no, do you know what? You can have this one instead.
I mean, it was a foregone conclusion the Williams were going out because Williams are shit. And it was probably a foregone conclusion Stoffel was going out. But there you have a Haas and a Toro Rosso. A Toro Rosso and a Haas then qualified ahead of Hamilton, which means those cars were capable of doing it.
Mm.
So it could have backfired quite horribly.
Okay, well, look at Monza, where we didn't expect Williams to be up there. and they got it into Q3, didn't they? In this race, Sergio Sirotkin, who qualified 19th, is well over a second slower than Van Dorn in 18th. So that's a massive discrepancy. And yeah, they've come here the worst car again.
Well, the thing we know with Monza is the worst thing to have at Monza is downforce.
Yeah, and they have none.
And I was going to say, Williams has no issue there.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, they are quite slippery, aren't they?
The Mercedes engine's still got plenty of grunt in the back of it, so that's not an issue. The issue the Williams has always had this season has been no downforce. So
yeah. Okay, Q2. Ferrari tried to go through on only the ultras, pretty much what Hamilton did, but they were just too slow. They gave it a lap. Kimi Räikkönen was sat there going, "Well, I'm not going to make it through." I think Vettel wanted to try one more time, but then if he didn't get it, he wouldn't have gone through into Q3. So they ended up getting rid of that idea, getting rid of that plan, coming in, putting some the hypersofts on and going through into Q3. And in that session, we lost Gasly, Ericsson, Leclerc, Sainz, and Mr. Alonso.
Yeah, Alonso took it down to the wire. But I think he was quite happy with 11th because, he has a free choice of tyres. So.
Yeah, I think he was quite happy there. I think he's quite happy for the 11th spot. He's halfway up the field and then he gets to choose his tyres. So it's kind of a prime spot, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Q3. This is where Hamilton just stamped his authority over absolutely everyone.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to him. We may mock him and his upcoming recording career, #blessed, available at all good bookstores, end of the season. But it can't be denied, when he gets it right, boy, does he get it right.
That was a lap of the gods. I cannot put into words how amazing that lap was. I think it was because he was trailing in pretty much all sessions up until that point. And then he just hooked up an almost perfect lap. He said that he got it right in every single corner. And
well, it was a new course lap record.
Yeah.
I mean, taking aside everything else, the previous record was pole from last year. And they modified the circuit a little bit, but they made it 0.02 kilometers shorter. And that was Vettel with a 1:39.4. This was a 1:36 dead.
Yeah. It was amazing. I was blown away. Sometimes you just have to turn around and just golf clap all the way, and you cannot say anything about it. Look at Vettel; he ended up third, so he wouldn't have got pole position anyway. Oh,
no, and it's also Hamilton did this on his first lap.
Yeah,
he couldn't improve. No one improved really on their second one, whereas traditionally, everyone who's last to cross the line usually gets it.
Yeah, that was strange, wasn't it? Everyone went out again and nobody went faster at all. It
was all in sector 3, it seemed like, but they were losing the time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. But Hamilton claimed the pole position. Max Verstappen was second. Vettel was third. Bottas came up in fourth. Kimi Räikkönen fifth. Daniel Ricciardo sixth. Sergio Perez was seventh. Romain Grosjean was eighth. And Esteban Ocon was ninth, with Nico Hülkenberg taking the 10th position. So there we have the grid. And they finished like that almost, didn't they? Pretty much.
They almost finished spot for spot. 1 to 6 literally finished where they did.
Yeah.
And then 11th, 12th and 13th finished 7th, 8th and 9th.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Should we just get this over and done with?
Yeah, I'm not impressed with this race. There was a couple of talking points. The first
honestly, there's 4 talking points and they include pit stops, I think.
Oh, okay. Go on then. Right, okay.
So, first talking point is just after the start, Sergio Perez took out Esteban Ocon.
Yes.
My view on this was Perez was at fault in my mind. I don't think this was a racing incident. I don't think he did it deliberately trying to take out Ocon.
No.
But I do feel that he was, maybe, he'll get out of the way. I'm here doing my thing. Let Ocon just get out of the way there.
Do you think he was just trying to put his elbows out just to say, look, I'm here. Don't even try and think about going around the outside of me?
Maybe just a little bit, especially when you see the onboard from Perez.
That's the telling one, isn't it?
That is the telling one. And let's face it, we get a bit of form on this later on. But he clouted Ocon. Straight into the wall goes Ocon. That's his race run. He's out.
Yeah.
Not a very happy bunny. And almost instantly we get a safety car. I say almost instantly because they allow Vettel and Verstappen to race down Raffles Boulevard and for Vettel to overtake Verstappen. And as soon as the overtake is done, they deploy the safety car.
They allow Vettel to make his move, don't they?
They do.
There's the Ferrari assistance, if ever needed. But then again, they're so far away from the incident. They're almost a whole lap away from the incident. So you might as well throw that, let them jossie for position, see where they come out at the end of that straight, and then throw it.
Yeah, I can see that. It for me, though, he's gaming the safety car to an extent at that point because he is making a decision on when to deploy it, not based on the incident. If you're deploying the safety car for safety reasons, because there's marshals on the track or anything like that, then you either deploy it straight away or you leave it until the absolute last possible moment, which I suppose would have been as they came around back onto the start-finish straight, and then pick him up there. But because he very clearly allowed Vettel to finish the move before he did it.
Yes.
So it just seems like he is making a conscious decision to affect the racing on the circuit.
Would you rather him throw that safety car down the middle of that straight where people could slap on their anchors and cause a bigger pile-up?
Well, there were still people. They waited until Lewis, Sebastian and Max were at the end, and then he deployed it. So you still have plenty of other cars hurtling down the straight.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not like, just because these guys are off the straight now, it's all well and good. You've got the entire rest of the field from Ricciardo back hurtling down there before he triggered it. So that argument doesn't hold too much water with me.
Right. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just wondering as to what was going through his mind because he did this at Spa as well, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, if it was me, I think the place where I would have said he should have deployed it was between turns 20 and 21.
Okay, let me just get the map out. Okay, yeah, I know.
So if you do it there,
yep,
then fine. You can let them race through the entire rest of the circuit because we might have seen Vettel and Max. Max might have come back a couple more times.
Yep.
There could have been a few more bits and pieces. And if by the time you get to, maybe even between 17 and 18, if at that point you go, okay, the car's still not clear, then you can deploy the safety car and you can have the safety car pick them up at turn 2 when it comes out of the thing. They were trundling along anyway at that point. So I just don't know why it was when it was done.
It does seem a bit mischievous to throw it there, let him make his move, and then throw it.
Yeah.
It seems like Charlie's watching what Vettel's doing and watching what Max is doing. Okay, right, are they safe? Okay, right, now throw it.
I mean, I can see why he's doing it in that respect, because he might be going, if I do this now while they're in the middle of a pass, it's going to get messy with, he has to give a place back or he doesn't, or was this done under the safety cars? I can understand that.
Yeah.
But because he waited until that point, I just feel it's, you either trigger it straight away when you know you have to, like everything else be damned, effectively.
Yeah.
There's a safety implication. We have to do it here. Boom. Or you do it almost at the last possible moment to not interfere. You kind of want to take yourself out of it, because for all we know, there might have been other passes going on back down the field. Well, we were focused on that.
I think you're right in saying that. You saying he doesn't want to have on his head, was Verstappen ahead of Vettel? Was Vettel ahead of Verstappen and one of them gets a penalty for overtaking under the safety car?
Yeah.
But once you make sure that they're clear, like you say, back down the grid, still racing down that straight, are people overtaking. So it still gets messy just for people behind. So I don't see why they don't throw it on the start-finish straight.
Yeah, I think it would have made sense to me. You're still far enough away from the accident that it's not going to be an issue. They're still they weren't going to pick up the safety car by that point anyway. They wouldn't have picked it up until it exited the pit lane.
Yeah.
Unless they deploy car. No, I think they've only got one safety car, haven't they? So, because it's always Bert Mylander,
who has done more laps in the lead than Nico Rosberg.
Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah. Too bad he wasn't here commentating. We could have pointed it out to him. So all I'm saying with that is it was right to deploy the safety car, because you kind of have to, just given the nature of the circuit. It was just for timing.
Yeah.
I feel you either trigger it straight away, racing be down because it's a safety thing, or you let them get around the entire lap racing, and then you get to 22 or whatever, you can say, okay, now safety car, you go at VSC speeds up the pit straight until you pick up the safety car, and then you're off from there.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem proper dodgy. It really does.
A little bit.
Oh,
so that was that talking point.
Can I just say about the actual crash which triggered all of that?
Yes.
I think you're right in thinking that Perez was trying to show his hand to Ocon. He didn't mean to crash him into the wall.
Yeah.
But he was trying to jinx out a little bit, just say, look, here's the width of my car. Don't come anywhere near me. See this circle around me? Don't come into that. That's my space. And that's what he was trying to do. The commentators turned around and saying he had no right in going down the outside are totally wrong. He had every single right to go down the outside and try a move. That's what we want to see.
There's plenty of space there.
There's loads.
Yeah. For me, that was... And I feel that if it was a different car, not a teammate, there'd have been a protest sent to the stewards like that, and there'd be quite a bit of, that deserves some sort of penalty.
Yeah. Did you see Grosjean cutting the first corner as well?
Yeah. Well, that's what they were saying might have been Perez's saving grace. He was focused on that and watching him rejoin, so he wasn't paying any attention to where Ocon was.
Yeah, because he did give room to Grosjean.
He gave room and then some. But, you when you're at this level, you're supposedly one of the best drivers in the world.
Yeah.
I feel you need to make a note of who's on the other side before you turn that way.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's your teammate. What's rule 1? I mean, rule 1 of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club, but rule 2 is you don't take out your teammate.
Yeah, it's almost as if they need spotters, isn't it?
It's getting that way. But as a result of this, I don't know if you've heard, Force India have once again banned Ocon and Perez from racing. Which I think is massively unfair, because unlike last year, where they were tripping over each other every race, this aside, they've not been too bad.
Yeah, I don't think they've been too bad at all. I think they've been working for the team because of the horrible situation that they've been thrown in mid-season. This is the last sort of result that they need.
Yeah, but how would this work? Are you saying to Ocon you're not allowed to attempt the pass? Or are you saying to Perez you're not allowed to attempt the block?
Yeah, and with Ocon not having a seat as well, that throws another... Oh, man, that's going to get complicated, because Ocon can turn around and say, well, you're not keeping me, so sod ya, I'm going to race.
Pretty much, yeah. Apparently, the reason why Stroll won't be moving into Force India before the end of the season is Mercedes have made it clear that if that happens, they won't be getting engines.
Ooh. But hang on, that's not Williams' fault though, is it?
What, Force India or Mercedes?
Oh, sorry.
As well?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Force India, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, dear. But then then they'd have to have Hondas, though, wouldn't they? That's not good.
Well, I think it's more of a fact that Force India owe Mercedes a lot of money for the engines they have. So
yeah. Yeah, it'll be, you got to pay up now.
It'll be like, those are some nice kneecaps you have there. It'd be a shame if something happened to them.
Get the horse's head ready. Get the horse's head ready.
Okay. So that was the first talking point, really.
Yep.
At least as far as I'm concerned. The second one I was going to mention was the undercut, overcut sort of tyre strategy things they were trying to play at. Yeah. Now, I can never remember. Is it traditionally the undercut works at Singapore, or does it not really matter? Do you know what? I think it changes from race to race and what type of compound they bring. Yeah. It really does. They were well out on their estimations with the tyres, though, because they estimated the hypers would last for 15 laps. Uh-huh. And I think we had Ricciardo doing like 29. Yeah, but was he pushing? Well, this is the problem again. You're going through these tyre conservation stages where, and we saw this with Lewis for like the first, dozen laps or so? Easy, which was, I felt frustrating. That was very frustrating because for the first dozen or so laps, if he was to pit, he'd have come out in 19th place. Yes, that's right. Because the grid was that close. And then all of a sudden, they got to a point and he just like dropped the hammer. And all of a sudden, if he had to pit, he'd come out in like 8th or 9th in the space of about 2 laps. And none of us paid to go and watch a bloody procession, which is what we kind of got. Yeah, that's what we got. I got very frustrated with it. Sometimes I really like the cat and mouse stuff. But when it's not like the drivers are doing that as a tactic. They are just there managing tyres. Yeah. It's not, if it was his tactic and they said, look, you've got tyres for the rest of the day, but if you do this and then drop the hammer at a certain point and then go for your pit stop, then that might get you the jump on him. That would be a legitimate tactic that I would applaud. But because he's doing it because, well, my tyres might go off and they might blister. Well, it's just not racing. That's really just not, it's not racing at all. I want to see these guys going out, burning out their tyres, coming in, getting some new ones and going up the front again. This was Martin's point about the 90-minute race time, to try and get rid of the tyre saving periods. To try and get rid of those, 10 to 15 laps where you're just going around, at pit lane limit speeds to save your tyres. Well, then just bring harder compounds. Why? There you go. I've sorted it. Well, bring harder compounds, but then you're going to get them arguing, going, "Oh, well, there's no grip here." No, deal with it. Yes, because they're so good at dealing with it as it is. Well, no, my argument would be, well, you wanted tyres that don't blister, so you can lean on them. There you go. There are tyres that you can. Pirelli have the ability to make the tyres that the system wants. Yeah, but do you remember back, when was it? Was it 2006 where tyre stops were banned? Yeah, that was shit. I don't know if I like that season or not. I'm trying to remember it. But I remember it was they had the tyres and the tyres had to do the entire race. Yeah. Unless there was a safety issue. That was terrible. It wasn't the finest moment, was it? No, it wasn't. And I agree. I mean, maybe it's a case of go back to just bring all the compounds to a bloody race and just let everyone. It's a free for all. Just pick the tyres you want that work best with you in your car and go with those. Yeah. I'd rather have that than we go through. Well, we've got to go on the hypers to qualify well. And then we've got to stretch them out as long as we can do. So we're tiptoeing around for a dozen or so laps. It's dull. But anyway, the point I was making is Ferrari tried to be clever by pitting early, doing the undercut, and throwing on ultra softs rather than softs.
Which seemed like a good idea at the time.
It did seem like a good idea at the time, except for one small problem.
It wasn't.
He came out behind Perez.
Okay, yeah.
So Perez was on soft tyres, or super soft tyres, or whatever. Basically, Perez wasn't planning on pitting for a while. And Vettel really needed some clear air to really go and stretch his fresh boots. And he couldn't. So Hamilton pitted the following lap and comfortably came out ahead. And that was a that.
But he came out on softs as well, though, didn't he?
Well, he came out on the yellow stripe. Are the yellow ones super softs or
soft?
No,
they're softs.
All right, he came out on the softs then, which they knew would go to the end of the race quite happily.
Sorry,
no problem.
At which point Vettel must have been going, oh, bollocks. Because then he knows he has to stretch his tyres, which aren't as durable as the one that Lewis has. Lewis has just checkmated him there and then.
That was effectively game over. And then Verstappen pitted a few laps later, and it was very close. We almost had some excitement, as he came out. He came out next to Vettel, but I just feel that Vettel's part wasn't in it. Maybe he's thinking, I don't want to collide with Max and lose more points for the championship, because Max isn't in this for the championship at this point.
Yeah,
he's just in it for maximum points. Effectively let him have it, and that was kind of it.
Can I ask then, do you think all this trouble that Max had moving in the braking zones throughout the last couple of years, do you reckon that is now paying dividends, that Vettel didn't try to go around the outside of him? And it is, well, hang on, he's not going to let me through.
Well, I think Max has a reputation, deserved or otherwise, it's totally deserved, of never say die. Mm-hmm. I'd rather win the race or crash trying to win than come second. I don't think Max has the tactical brain as such. And don't get me wrong, he did play a tactical game here. He wasn't pushing as hard early on as he might have done otherwise. So fair play.
He had engine issues, didn't he, throughout this race?
Yeah, there's something about engine mapping issues.
And he struggled to pull away. He was pulling away in second gear from that pit stop.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have the greatest getaway. So if he had a fluid pit stop where he just went in, 2 second stop, tyres on, and he just was beautifully away, then he would have easily cleared Vettel.
Yeah.
And so the undercut was clearly not working. It was the wrong decision, totally.
It was the overcut. But the point I was making about Verstappen is, I think Vettel weighed up his odds. He didn't fight around that corner for it. No. He came out alongside Max, and he instantly decided, nah, you can have it, mate. It's not worth it.
Do you think Vettel's looking at points there?
Absolutely. Vettel was looking at, I can either lose, what's the difference in points between first? So he could either lose 10 points to Lewis, or he could lose 25 points to Lewis.
Yeah.
Give him a choice, I'll take 10 over 25.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not worth having a bump for 3 points.
No. And I think Max would quite happily do the bump. Max would have a bump, blame it on Vettel.
Yeah.
People, he'd say, if he's penalised, he'd say, well, that's just racing, and the FIA are trying to kill racing, and it's Charlie's fault, and blah, 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 blah. And that would be it.
Yeah, but we got to give it to Vettel for, well, no, he didn't try it. Maybe Verstappen for getting the foot down and then getting his elbows out on that corner, and then just not losing Vettel, but Vettel wouldn't have had the tyres anyway. Even if Vettel had got in front of Verstappen, I think Verstappen would have got him later on with the tyres.
I think so too, but Vettel just didn't seem very racy. Vettel just seemed, his head was down, wasn't it?
Once Lewis came out on softs, I think that was it. He was, like I said, bollocks, I've lost this one. There's no way I'm going to beat Hamilton.
I think it was a qualifying. I think that's when it happened.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
That was hang on, where did that come from? Moment.
I think Ferrari convinced themselves they had the faster car for Singapore. This was a race they were supposed to win.
Yeah.
Dominantly. And they didn't.
Yeah.
And I think that, once Vettel got once his head was down like that, it was just, it just wasn't going to happen for him. And he was playing a points game. You saw him on the podium at the end, He didn't feel satisfied that he'd done the best he could.
Yeah.
He was, well, I have to stand here and have this champagne and get this expensive trophy and reflect on the millions of pounds I'm being paid to drive a Ferrari.
Yeah.
But I really want to be on that step there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Can we go back to the trophies real quick?
Oh, we've got trophy watch, didn't we?
Well, I'll be honest. Once the race had finished, I had other things to do. So I haven't seen any of the wrap-up whatsoever. If it had been a really exciting race, I might have stuck around for a little bit longer, but I didn't even see the podium.
The main takeaway from there was Vettel was sad and Lewis was glad.
Well, okay, what trophy was it? Was it a Heineken trophy again?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I wasn't paying any attention.
What I was going to suggest is maybe we should have a circuit trophy and a sponsor trophy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the trophy here now. Yeah. I found it thanks to the Midland Daily News.
Wow.
It's not too bad actually. It looks like a bird, a stylized bird with two large wings coming up behind it.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's certainly one of the better ones.
Good. It's not a Heineken one, which I think is the one that is the worst one at the moment, and they keep giving them ones out. And like I think they should have a circuit trophy and then a sponsor trophy. And then what the teams can do is keep all the circuit trophies, because that's what the ones they really want, and then they can flog off the sponsor trophy for charity. There you go. Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner. Oh, there you go. So pit stops was the second talking point. The third talking point, and I think this is one that you appreciated.
Yep.
Sergei Sirotkin and the Truly train.
Oh, this was brilliant.
Yeah.
This was my shining light hit. Thank you, Sergio. Thank you, Sergio. Sirotkin for doing what he did there, because he caused problems. He annoyed drivers. He damn right drove drivers off the circuit as well, a la Nico and Hamilton a couple of years ago when they went bangy. And yeah, he just caused problems, possibly even could have affected the outcome of the race at one point.
Oh, he very much could have. Well, I don't think he was to blame with that so much, but we'll get to that in a second. But basically, as we've established, the Williams, I honestly think would probably lose in a race with a safety car. They're just nowhere.
Yeah.
They're terrible. And Sergio had to pit on lap one. I think both the Williams collected debris from Ocon's crash, but he pitted. So he had from lap one some soft tyres on.
Yeah.
And was just trying to go the distance. And Perez found himself behind him, and Perez could not, for love nor money, get past that Williams. And he was raging, and he was on the radio, and he was going, "Oh, you got to tell Charlie to tell him to let me through." And it's like, no, he's not a back marker. You're racing for position.
Yeah, that's what I was getting confused with him asking about that.
Yeah. And then he started saying, if he doesn't, there's going to be an accident. And it's like, oh, well, it's a little bit of foreshadowing there, perhaps. And we've not necessarily been the kindest to Sirotkin over the course of the season. It's entirely possible we might have remarked on his season being pointless on more than one occasion, up until he scored a point. But fair play to him. He fought tooth and nail. You look at him when he was coming down Raffles Boulevard and all that. He's not looking for his braking spot at all. His eyes are glued in both of his mirrors because he's just looking to see where people are to block them off. And you get drivers complaining, going, "Oh, he's moving under the braking zones." I've always hated that. People complaining about that. I don't like that at all. Irritates me. But anyway, they were complaining about that. But Charlie said, "No, I'm not seeing a problem. It's fine." So finally, through sheer force of will, Perez manages to somehow get alongside Sirotkin and start trying to make a pass.
Yeah.
But rather than just meekly accept this in his rubber band powered Williams, as it was, rather than just say, "Oh, well, I've given it a good old few laps, I'll let him pass now." Oh, no, he keeps fighting and keeps his car alongside, which was great. But then, really weirdly, and I think this was, I'm just looking at the map, I want to say this was around turn 17, 18?
This was, let me have a look at the map. It was in between 17 and 18 that this happened.
All of a sudden, Perez turned into Sirotkin, giving himself a puncher, throwing a bit of bodywork off Sirotkin's car, and forcing him to pit. Now, fortunately, he didn't have too far to go before the pit lane, but I don't know why he turned in there.
I think it's
because he's already on the racing line.
But you know what he's done with Perez, trying to get his elbows out, and once again, this is my circle, do not encroach my circle type thing. I think he's just jinxed over to the left, or tried to jinx over just to intimidate him, to put Sergio.
It looked, yeah. It looked like he was gonna, like, you know, when you pretend to throw a punch, but you hold back because you just want to see him flinch. It was like that.
That's right. I think he's tried to push him over to the left even more, so he has to back off. So he's got the race in line, and the Williams is compromised. But that hasn't happened at all, has it? It just looks. This is like a PlayStation crash. This is someone online going, get out of it.
You know what this was like? I'm not saying it was this. I'm not even saying it was comparable. But did you see in the news about the MotoGP, the Moto2 driver who's been banned because he rode up alongside another bike and snatched the other bike's brake pedal?
Yes, what a knob. What an absolute knob.
Who deserves to be banned for life from all motorsport. But that's, you know, we don't do two wheels anymore. Sorry, Chris, we don't. But that totally deserves to be banned. But it felt like that. It was petulant. Yeah. It was very petty. And ultimately just screwed him over, which was actually quite like that in the end it just caused damage for him more than anyone else. And as a result of that, Perez got a drive-through penalty, which we've not seen one of those since Vettel drove into the back of Lewis behind the safety car, I think. No, he had a stop. Was it a drive-through or a stop-go he had to do? He had a stop-go.
Yeah, I think he had a stop-go, yeah.
It wasn't a time penalty. He had a drive-through penalty. He had to go through the pits.
Which I'm surprised at. I thought that would have been classed as more of a dangerous driving. It wasn't clever at all. And
what was kind of terrifying is that big bit of barge board which flew off of Sirotkin's car, nearly hit Hulkenberg.
Yeah, that was a big chunk, wasn't it?
That was.
That was a big chunk. Perez ended up with a puncher, which totally scuppered his race. Not that he was having a great race anyway, but I think...
He'd scuppered his own race the second he bumped into Ocon.
Yeah, but it just shows you that he has that fiery temperament that doesn't always work out in the best interests of his race. It's, no, I want to show you how wide my car is. Get out of here. And barging him like that is just well out of order, I think.
Oh, it was utterly well out of order. The fact that he kinked off the racing line to do it, it's just petulance and petty. And we don't really want to see that. I do not like it, sir.
No,
I do not like it.
No, I didn't like that one bit.
So and as a result of that, as I said, Force India have decreed that their drivers are no longer allowed to race.
Well. In other words, Ocon's going to be playing tail gunner to Perez.
To an extent, I don't know. I mean, I think they just want to make sure they get the maximum points. I don't think they really care about where their drivers are in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that both drivers have the Force India at heart. They know that they want to get as many points as they can because all the other points have been lost. They know what their mission is.
And there's only 1 point between them both. Perez is 46, Ocon is 45.
Yeah. But both drivers know what the situation is. I think they're both there wholeheartedly for Force India. So Force India turn around and saying, don't race, just kind of scuppers all that. But, they have had form in the past. They are pretty much always on the same bit of tarmac, aren't they?
They are, but as I've said before, I think that's because both of them are getting the maximum out of the car.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's just a shame that's happened, but I'm kind of interested as to how they're going to be able to police it, if at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sirotkin was doing some really interesting blocking. And look, fair play to him. For the most part, he was blocking cars behind him. And it was because the Williams was out of position.
Yeah.
You suddenly had a Williams running around in like 11th or 12th when it really should be running around in 20th. So that explains that a little bit. Which brings me to the last talking point that I can think of, which is also kind of related to Sirotkin, but just back markers in general. And that was the whole blue flag stuff with Hamilton and Verstappen coming through.
Yeah.
And we almost had Verstappen go into the back of Hamilton and pass him because Grosjean was asleep and just ignored the blue flags, apparently.
Well, yeah, he got a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags, didn't he?
He did.
In the end. But I found that quite interesting with Hamilton. He was getting slowed up by the trolley train behind Sirotkin. Mm-hmm. And then Max was closing in on that. Hamilton was doing his thing and picking them off one by one. And then he came up to Sirotkin and Grosjean. And they were having a proper ding-dong battle.
Oh, this was a proper, guts and glory sort of fight.
Yeah.
And that was great. I love seeing that.
I really liked what they were doing. They have every single right to be fighting each other and not be disturbed by blue flags, I feel.
Yep.
And for then the leaders to come up and say, well, what are they doing? Well, what do you think they're doing? They're on a Formula One track with you, a Formula One driver. They are battling for position. Let them battle for position. If you get taken out, you get taken out. If you get through, you get through. Don't ask them to stop their race because you want to have your race. I know you have a kind of right because you're a lap ahead, but they're still allowed to have a race, aren't they?
Well, absolutely they're allowed to have a race. And I feel that if you want to be the world champion, if you want to be classed as one of the best drivers in the world, the ability to pass slower cars who are having a ding-dong amongst themselves, it should be part of your skill set.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be the ability to circle the circuit as fast as possible. That doesn't, for me, make a world champion.
Or as slow as possible sometimes.
Or as slow as possible, as the case may be. I feel that what it should be here is there's lots of skills which I feel go into it. You need to be able to get the most out of your tyres. You need to be strategic. You need to be able to race. You need to be able to know when not to race. You need to be able to know how to pass through traffic. You need to know all of these things. And with the blue flag system as it currently is, they're effectively admitting it's a two-tier championship where you have the 6 cars who are out leading are the A championship, and then everyone else is in the B championship. And the B championship isn't worth anything, so who cares? At which point, why even bother showing up? Why even bother having the cars on the circuit if that's the case?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, for me, the most entertainment we had today was not only Sirotkin and Perez. The only bit of actual good racing I saw where I was like, well played, that man, was Charles Leclerc on Pierre Gasly. Mm-hmm. That was the only legitimate overtake I saw for position.
Yeah.
That wasn't clumsy and pathetic. It was.
Yeah, Leclerc positioned Gasly into a mistake, and then he chopped through.
He threw him a dummy. He looked like he was going on the outside, then cut straight back across and went up the inside of the next corner, and then took him into the following corner. And that was great racing.
Yeah.
That was the only bit of racing I saw.
Yeah. Yeah, well, with the blue markers, okay, I want to finish off with Sirotkin because he ran Hartley very, very wide at one point. And he ended up getting a 5-second penalty for that, didn't he?
Sirotkin?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
No, he didn't.
He came into the pits and stopped for 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah, he served it in the race. Okay,
yeah, he served it in the race, yeah. But the way that he did it was very much like what Nico did to Hamilton in Austria when he hung him out to dry and then they both collided. And I feel that Hartley was very lucky not to collect the barrier on that. It was just a case of, no, you're not coming through. I'm going to make my car wide, push you off the circuit. That is not on. I don't agree with that whatsoever. There was no need for that. But also on blue flags, did you hear Bottas moaning about blue flags when he was coming up to lap certain people?
Oh, behind Hülkenberg?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going, where's the blue flag? And it's like, you're like 3 seconds behind him. You're not even in DRS range.
Yeah, shut your face and catch up to him.
Yeah.
Oh, where's the blue flags? Where's the blue flag? No, shut up. Drive faster, catch him, overtake him. I'm sick of it. Get rid of blue flags. That's my number one priority now. Get rid of them. I don't like it. I'd rather have VSC than blue flags.
Whoa. Wow. Okay.
Hang on. No, I didn't say that. Shit. I recorded that, didn't I?
I tell you what, let's everyone pretend that didn't happen, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way that he was bitching and moaning about it, about blue flags, you're like, oh, no, what do you want him to do? Just step aside and say, there you go, sir. Please let me hold the door for you. No, you got to catch him.
Yeah, it's all well and good if you were like Lewis and Verstappen when they're coming through, because while it would have been very entertaining, very fun, and probably made this race worth talking about if that had interacted. That's when you want blue flags, when you're in the middle of a fight with someone else and the leaders who are also in the middle of a fight. You don't want to interrupt that fight, basically.
Yeah.
That's why blue flags are there. It's to not let back markers interfere with fights further up the race. But more often than not, all it is, it's a procession. So it's just blue flags are ruining the races further down the field to allow the imperious leaders to just cruise on through.
Yeah.
No. Out of my way, peasant. I am coming through in my Mercedes.
That's what it's like, isn't it?
Yeah.
You might as well just have a Mercedes lane at traffic lights now. And we are classed as blue lights. And if you're in a Mercedes, you get to the front of the queue in every single queue at lights. It's utter balls.
Pretty much.
I think carving your way through traffic used to be a kind of skill. Yeah. And people would gain time and people would lose time. Yes, there were blue flags, but people still gained time and lost time, and there was something of the dramatic about it. And you knew some drivers that could do it, and you're like, oh, he can do it, so he might be able to make 4 or 5 seconds up on this. And like Damon Hill was never great at cutting through the back markers.
No.
Whereas Schumacher was. And watching Schumacher close gaps, which you think you're sat there going, oh, he's closing the gap. No, don't do that. But it added something spicy to the race. And these guys just sit there going, well, waiting for the blue flags, waiting for it. Oh, but you're not close enough. But I can't get close enough. Well, I'm afraid you're going to have to sit there then, aren't you?
And even, as we said with Bottas and Hülkenberg, bitching about it when he's, I think, 3 seconds and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that just not good.
That screams of entitlement.
Very much so. I didn't like that one little bit.
No. And that was pretty much the race, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was effectively it. They had to make Hamilton pull up onto the back of a flatbed, which was disguised as a podium. And I think that after that, his car was stolen and whisked off to Maranello.
He pulled up on a TV, didn't he?
He pulled up on a massive TV, yeah. But it had a little ramp, and I was kind of just waiting for the guy, to be standing up there saying, yeah, left, straighten him up. Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah, once again, Liberty Media trying to Americanize Formula One, which it doesn't suit, I'm afraid.
So we had that, and yeah. Oh, wait, there's something we forgot to talk about, and I know this is very important for you. I know you were very keen to talk about this.
Okay.
So can you fry an egg on a tyre?
No. Who thought you could?
Didn't you see this?
Yes, I did, yeah, and it fucking annoyed me. I'm sat there going, you can't, it's not bloody hot enough. Don't try it, because that would be stupid. Oh, what do? They try it. Guess what? They can't. And trying to put a slippery thing on a round thing doesn't flipping work. Stupid people.
Yeah, I think I'm done now.
No, that really annoyed me. That so pissed me off. I don't want to tune in to people on free practice. I quite enjoy free practice because it's a kind of free Formula One that I get to watch. But then them having their little daddies meeting of, I wonder if you can fry an egg. No. How about fuck off? That's what Ted should have come up with. Or Anthony Davison should have turned around and said, Crofty, I think you need to take your pills because you're talking utter balls right now. You can't fry an egg on a tyre just because it's 90 degrees. No, it's not going to happen. And then, did you actually see the execution of them trying to fry you got me started on this now.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see the execution of them trying to do that?
Did you just say, did I see the execution?
Up yours. No, did you see it?
Yeah, I did see it.
Okay. So, number one, if Ted wants to do that with an egg, he's got to think of the logistics of trying to put something slippery onto a round thing, which isn't going to work, is it? So he needs some sort of vessel to hold it in position, which he should have done. First failure from him. Second failure, hang on, I've got to commentate on this and crack an egg and hold a microphone. Second failure for that. Third failure was then to turn the tyre around. Oh no, he tried to crack an egg on the tyre. It's made of rubber. It's not going to give. It's not a sharp corner that you can crack it on. It just calamity after calamity. And it was like watching drunk dads talk about, I don't know, football or something like that. It was just, it wasn't even entertaining. I suppose I'm getting entertained about talking about it, but no, stop it. Just stop it. You annoy me now.
It's getting silly. Stop that. Stop it. I will say Ted's Notebook is a lot less fun than it used to be because it's silly. It's too silly. I didn't mind the occasional little in-jokey bit here and there, but it has become parody effectively. Oh, okay, right. You've opened the gates now. Well, we did say it would be a short one.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, they've got too comfortable in what they're doing. And I know I said see this in the green room, but in the first couple of years, it was all, we need to get our facts right. And now they're just on a jolly around the world. I can't blame them for doing it. But you've also got to think about the people watching you make dad jokes and watching you do this in a very poor style. And it just doesn't work. I'm not saying I could ever do that. I'm not saying, oh yeah, put me in their place. No, because I'd be rubbish as well. But what they're doing is not, they're getting paid money. They're actually getting paid for doing that. And it's embarrassing. And if you think it's quirky and fun, good luck to you. I think you're wrong though.
I think they should let us go and do it.
Maybe start the free practice. We could do the free practice at least.
Yeah.
Or the other commentary, the red button commentary.
Oh yeah, we'd be shit at that. We just sit and watch the race.
Yeah, but it's on the red button. Who's going to listen to it? We'd do it.
It's fair point.
It'd be great. Oh, the lights are gone out. Hang on, let's wait for something to happen. No, nothing's happened. Okay, right. Well, you know what they started in, so there you go. Look, there you go. I've done the first corner of every race.
Yeah.
Oh, see, now you've got me all hot and sweaty.
Euphemism.
Yeah, there you go. So, shall I run down the top 10 of this race?
Yeah, let's. I think we've already done it, but yes, let's do it officially now.
Okay, well, we know the top 6. They were as they started. It was Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel, Bottas, Raikkonen, and Ricciardo. Raikkonen, very quiet race, by the way, and Ricciardo, very quiet race as well. In 7th position, Fernando Alonso. Sainz was, quiet race. Sainz was 8th, quiet race.
Quiet race.
Leclerc was 9th.
Best bit of racing on the entire circuit, possibly only bit.
Yeah, and Hulkenberg, ignoring blue flags, or no, there weren't any blue flags, in 10th position.
Yes.
That was it. So, drivers' standings. Do you want to do drivers? I'll do constructors.
Yeah, sure. Drivers, Max Verstappen is 5th with 148 points. Bottas is 4th with 171. Kimi Räikkönen is 3rd with 174. Sebastian Vettel is 2nd with 241, and with a commanding 40-point lead now, Lewis Hamilton with 281, which I believe means Vettel has to win every race still coming if Lewis finishes 2nd.
Okay. I think we both know that Hamilton's won this.
Well, we will have to see.
Yeah. Anyway, constructors, Haas somehow in 5th position with 76 points.
Are you sure? Because surely the only reason the rivals are complaining is because they can't be beaten. So surely Haas should be winning.
They should. Yeah. Sorry, you're right. Haas are 452 points.
Okay, 451. I think you'll find.
Renault are in 4th position with 91 points. Red Bull are in 3rd with 274 points. Then Ferrari are in 2nd with 415 points. And Mercedes are leading the pack with 452 points.
Yes, quite the commanding lead for the 1 and 2. I think it's safe to say 1st through 3rd are pretty much locked in there.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Mercedes have just started to edge it. Ferrari are trying a bit too hard. Vettel, I don't think Hamilton's just too good when he's got the bit between his teeth.
You mean when he's #super blessed?
When he's like well blessed and stuff. And I think he's just got the beating of Vettel. He just hasn't got that cutting edge that Hamilton has. Hamilton's got the luck, and he's so bloody good. He is so blessed. Good. Yeah, so he blessed. Is. He's been kissed by God. That's his second album, Kissed by God. There you go.
No, his second album, Still I Rise.
Oh, okay. Okay, right. So predictions. Do you remember what you predicted for this race last time out?
No.
No. Good. Right. So who do we have for pole position? Lewis Hamilton ended up with the pole position.
He did.
You went with Vettel, so you get nil point.
Nil point.
I went with Hamilton, so I get 1 point.
Ah, you bastard.
Get in. Okay, for the race, Lewis Hamilton won the race. You went with Sebastian Vettel, so you get no points.
I chose poorly.
You did. Well, you chose better than me because I chose Bottas, so I get no points.
Oh no.
And for our third column, we were wondering how many people would be classified as DNF.
Yeah, well, I think we're both wrong on this one.
Well, officially, there was one DNF.
Yes.
Which was Esteban Ocon on the very first lap.
Yes.
You went with 6 DNFs, so you get no points. And I went with 4 DNFs, so I get no points as well. So overall, I get another point. So now I am on 12 points, and you are still on 10 points.
Oh, no. I'm guessing no one came to my defense saying I should take that point from last week, so screw all you listeners.
I haven't received an email for it, so there you go.
Yeah, I thought as much.
Yeah, well, we see your answer.
We see who they're all cheering for.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. Okay, so that leads us on to the Russian Grand Prix.
Oh, yes.
In 2 weeks' time.
In Sochi.
Yeah. So, do you have any stats from last time out for this?
I do. So last time out, pole position was Sebastian Vettel. Fastest lap was Kimi Räikkönen. And the podium was Bottas from Vettel from Kimi. Räikkönen, of course.
Yes.
In terms of all-round stats, Hamilton has won here twice. Mercedes has won here 6 times, although 2 of those times were 1913 and 1914, so I don't know if they quite count.
Not quite in our window that we're dealing with.
Not quite. But basically, Mercedes has won every race at the Sochi circuit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, since you're losing again, would you like to predict who would you like on pole position?
I'm going Lewis.
You're going with Lewis, yeah?
Yeah.
Fair play.
I will just point out, though, just as a reminder, this is the first time the race has been held here in the latter half of the year. Previously, it's always been around April time.
Yeah, isn't that because of the World Cup, though?
Yes, but all I'm saying, though, is temperatures will be different.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas in the past it might have been warmer.
Wasn't the first one very late in the season?
I don't think so, but I will check. No, May was 2016. 2015 was October, so you're right on that one.
Oh, there you go.
And yeah, so the first 2 were... So the 2 that Lewis won were latter half of the year, so...
Oh, I know where you're going then. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? You can just save the trouble. Just put it down now. You know.
No. I'll still have to ask you the question. Who am I going to go for pole position? Sorry, I'm going to go with Vettel. I think Red Bull might be quite good around here. Although, well, it's power though, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. I'm going with Vettel for pole position. What about race? Shall I put Lewis down now?
Yeah, just put Lewis down.
You reckon he's going to win again, yeah?
Hashtag super blessed.
Yeah. And Bottas got his very first win here, didn't he, a couple of years ago?
Last year.
Oh, was it last year?
Yes,
it was, yeah. And he still hasn't won a race. I don't think he will win one now. I thought he was going to win last year.
But let's not forget last year. There's a very particular reason why Lewis ended up 4th.
I'm trying to remember.
Headrest.
That wasn't here. That was Azerbaijan.
I sworn it was here.
That was Azerbaijan when they bumped wheels.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes. I stand corrected.
I'm wondering why Lewis came 4th then.
I don't know. I'm reading the race report now.
Right. Anyway, I'm going to go with, for the race win, I'm going to go with Verstappen. There we go. It's all written down. Third columns. Have any thoughts about third columns?
Oh, well, we've lost Danny Kvyat, so we can't use him as our go-to mark there.
That's
and
true.
Attrition was pretty good last time out.
Yeah.
It's a good third column we can use.
Have we done anything with Grosjean recently?
No, but he's not doing anything for me at the minute.
No.
He's boring me. You're boring me, Grosjean.
Fair
You
enough.
crashed on the first lap last time out anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is it prone for safety cars?
I don't think so.
No, it's not, is it?
No. I think there was one safety car when Kvyat knocks Vettel into the turn 3.
Yes. But that was probably about it.
This is quite a dull circuit from what I remember. The races aren't the greatest.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's probably why I was forgetting it with Azerbaijan. I just forgot it had taken place.
Yeah. Okay, third column. What can we do? Who's driving? How about Force India? They're quite close. Who's going to be the top driver? Who's going to finish ahead of who?
My only problem when you do those it's a binary choice. Like, you pick one, I'm stuck with the other.
That's true. But yeah, you get to choose first, though.
Yeah, I do get to choose first. But I'm thinking we can come up with a better one. Just give me a second. Let me have a little look. I'm looking here at the the contestants this time out. seeing who we have. Maybe we can do something with pole time, perhaps, or fastest lap, because that was good. In fact, the fastest pit stop was a good one we did last time out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's really hard to find that, though, isn't it?
It's a piece of piss, mate.
Okay.
They actually list it on the Formula One website.
Yeah, I've stopped going there.
There you go, the DHL Fastest Pit Stop Award. And if anyone is interested, the award for the Singapore round was, waiting for the image to load, there you go, Williams with Lance Stroll, 2.3 seconds.
Okay. Do you want to do an easy one with the pit stop then?
Yeah, let's do the pit stops. That's an easy one.
Okay. All right, then. Cool. What do you reckon the fastest pit stop will be?
Fastest pit stop, I'm going to go with... I'm just flicking through the... see what the form's been like for the most part. It's Ferrari and Williams seem to be dominating the pit stops.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a bit of love Kimi's way. I reckon Kimi.
You reckon Kim? So are we doing the driver to have the fastest pit stop and then the time for a bonus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
So you're going...
So I'm going to go Kimi.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with a... Ooh... 2 point... let's go 2.2.
Okay. All written down in pen. Can't get rid of that now. I'm going to go with Verstappen again. And I'm going to go for 2.1. Right, that's it. It's all in the bag.
Jolly good. Yeah. Now you mention it's usually a double race. I mean, I seem to think the most exciting thing that usually happens is if and when Vladimir Putin is going to show up.
Oh, he will be there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will be there. And it'll all be like awkward handshakes and don't look me in the eye. Don't look me in the eye.
Do you think we'll see Bernie there then?
No. Putin will be walking around going, where's the old man? Where is he? But no, I don't think we'll see Bernie there. Although he's still under employment though, isn't he?
I believe so, yes. Doing whatever a Bernie does.
I don't know. Somehow he's getting paid for not turning up at races now.
If I were Liberty Media, I'd pay him not to show up.
Okay, right. Well, that's the end of the race. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. Thank you for downloading this and, sticking with us for well over an hour, nearly the whole race length again. Andy, have you got anything to plug for these nice people? Because we do podcasts, don't we?
We do podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we did do a podcast just this week, you and I. I joined you on the Shonky Lab for your 10th anniversary show. Not the 10th anniversary of the Shonky Lab, just 10th anniversary of recording podcasts.
10 years of doing this. You'd think I'd be actually pretty good by now, but alas, no. Here we are.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. In fact, you know what? Why don't we just take a minute? Let's have a look at the 2008 Formula One season. So when you started doing this, we were still in the big Flicks and Fins and Chimneys Championship.
Yeah.
This was the year that Lewis Hamilton won against Felipe Massa in that very dramatic last lap at Brazil, where for 4 corners, was it, Massa was the champion?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, 4 corners, I'd say. Yeah. And then Timo Glock got overtaken by Hamilton.
Still had Super Aguri for at least 4 races before they went. Honda was still there. Force India were powered by Ferrari. Williams Toyota.
Oh, wow.
Toyota? BMW Sauber. Yeah, this was the year where Kubica had his one win in Canada.
Hang on, is it 10 years? So was Hulkenberg racing for Williams then? Did he take a pole position there?
Are you sure you're not thinking of Heidfeld?
No, I'm thinking of Hulkenberg.
I don't think Hulkenberg was racing then.
Hang on.
No, he's not. He's not down.
No. When did he start? Oh, 2010. There you go.
Yeah. So Hulkenberg's not even there. Yeah. Williams was Nico Rosberg and Kazuki Nakajima.
Kazuki Nakajima, he ran over his pit crew at one point, didn't he?
Yeah, Ferrari was Kimi and Massa. We had good old Nick Heidfeld in BMW Sauber with Kubica. Alonso and Piquet in the Renault team. Oh, this was the year of the Singapore Grand Prix where Nico deliberately crashed, wasn't it?
Piquet crashed, didn't he?
Yeah. Fun times. So yeah, that was 10 years ago. So if we were still doing this back then, we could have been reviewing that season. Yeah.
And I did want to do one around about that sort of time. I was thinking about doing one, and then it took me ages and ages to actually get off my bum to do this.
Yeah.
But we're here now, so thank you to everyone listening. But okay, where can they find us talking then?
You can find all the stuff that we do over at RogueTwoMedia.com, with all the podcasts and stuff, and the Great Derelict is linked through there, and Shonky Lab, and the Band of Brothers podcast, the Earth to Moon podcast, and all that good stuff.
The Flix capacitor as well.
But I'm not on that. But
no, that's right. Yeah.
But that's what you're on. And yes, you can check that out, where Elton and Ian Lee talk about time travel movies.
That's correct. So
yes. You should check that out. Last Thursday or whenever it came out, relative to your particular time zone and all dimensions. But yeah, you're all adults. You know how to use Google. You know how to use iTunes to search for. No one knows how to use iTunes, but you know how to use your podcast service. So go and find your podcast, give them a listen, maybe give us a review. We like that. Or better yet, go tell a mate, get them to listen to it.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, just spread the love. Say you want to listen to a couple of idiots who don't really know what they're talking about, chat about Formula One for an hour and a half. Here you go.
I wish it was an hour and a half.
I need to go back and listen to that one that you did for 20 minutes just to see what happened.
Oh, man, it's just me just droning on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Wow, that was ages ago. That was 60 episodes ago.
Wow.
Flipping hell. Anyway, yeah. God, we're getting into reminiscing now.
We are.
Please also check out the Black Dog Podcast and Hypnogoria as well. And all our friends, they're all linked all over the place. So, you can find all that stuff. Come on, you're clever people. You're downloading podcasts. Bloody hell, you made it to the end of this one as well. So you deserve a little round of applause for that as well. So I think we're going to draw it to an end there. Thank you.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah. Thank you, Andy, for joining me. Doing this with me.
Always a pleasure, sir.
And until next time, which will we see you in Russia, thank you very much and goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Especially if Hulkenberg has got a problem, because 2.8 has become 1.9 in the space of a lap. So that's going to happen, isn't it?